Folks, welcome back to another edition of the Play Action Podcast. I'm your host, Christian McCullum. March Madness is coming fast, and we're checking in with one of the top programs across the country right now. I've got my man Paul Catalina from Sikkim365.com to talk about the Baylor Bears. Paul, thanks for joining us.
Oh, hey, thanks for having me.
All right. Now, obviously, can't get much higher. Can't get much higher for Baylor than it was last year. That was obviously great. What were the expectations coming into this season, coming off of such a high last year?
I think the expectations were to compete for a national title again. Whether that's get back to the Final Four, we'll see. And look, they started out 15-0 and were the best team in the country before the injury bug hit them and hit them hard. So this is still a team that's very much Final Four caliber. Although I don't know how confident they can be compared to where they were when they were completely healthy. But it's a really good team. But injuries have changed the outlook for the season for sure.
And you talked about those injuries. I mean, who are some of the key pieces that have been stepping up, and what's the hope long-term in terms of those people?
Well, I mean, look, the negative is that Jonathan Chamwachachua, their excellent forward, who is just an Energizer Bunny, they call him Everyday John. He's out for the year with a very devastating knee injury that, it's probably pretty bad, and it's going to take him a while to come back from. So he's out. They've been without times. LJ Cryer has been in and out of the lineup, and he's their best scorer. James Akinjo, their point guard, in and out of the lineup, and is kind of playing banged up. Their other great scorer, Adam Flagler, has kind of been in and out of the lineup. Jeremy Sohan, their fantastic freshman forward, who's now playing the 5 because Jonathan Chamwachachua was out. He's been out at times. So they've had all these guys, out at different times. So continuity's been a tough thing. So everybody's kind of been stepping up. Dale Bonner, who was not expected to play a lot this year, has played a ton, and he's played better than you could have been expected to, transferring in and not being expected to have a role. But look, they beat TCU by 10 last Saturday, pretty much just playing 6 guys. A couple guys on the bench you might have expected to see some time from. Jordan Turner and Zach Loveday haven't really played all that much, if at all. And they're doing it with a rotation right now of 6 or 7 guys. It's very impressive, but you wonder, especially coming into a game against Kansas this weekend, can they sustain that? I don't know. I guess we'll see.
And Baylor, I mean, you guys, aside from the injuries, they had lost some key pieces from last year's team as well coming into the season. But it's, certainly a top 10 team right now, and it's turned into more of a reload than a rebuild. What do you attribute that to?
I think that's Scott Drew, and what I think a lot of people don't maybe realize is around the country what a job he's done here. He has been here for 18, 19 years now and came in and built the program up from nothing. I mean, literally the worst place you can be where they were when he came in. And look, they were in 2 Elite Eights and 3 Sweet 16s before the Final Four in the championship last year. He has just managed to build a real winning culture and program. And after long enough, you start to be able to recruit guys that really match your style as opposed to having to take chances on guys and figure maybe this guy will fit. If you look at what Baylor's done with the transfer portal, the analogy I like to use all the time is he's throwing in pennies and pulling out 20s. I mean, it just, they don't really, if guys go into the transfer portal from Baylor, you really never hear from them again, as where they've gotten last year. Transfer portal alone, Maceo Teague, Jared Butler, and Davion Mitchell all came out of the transfer portal. Freddie Gillespie 2 years ago came from the transfer portal. They have really, really maximized the use of the portal and getting guys who are not only stars but help build a national championship program. This year, James Akinjo out of the portal, Dale Bonner out of the portal, Adam Flagler out of the portal. All those get Jonathan Chamwachachua out of the portal. So they have done very well. Plus, now they're adding in guys like Kendall Brown and Jeremy Sohan, who might be one-and-done NBA guys, but they're adding those guys, and they're getting those guys without much fight now because they've proven what they can do on the next level. So that's why they're able to reload. But it is a very different team, and it looks different than last year with Davion Mitchell, who's arguably the best overall player in Baylor history, with Jared Butler, who's in the top 3, and Maceo Teague, who is a fantastic scorer and is going to be Yeah, he's in the D League right now. We had him on our show the other day. He's doing great, and he'll be an NBA player. And then Mark Vital, who's on the Kansas City Chiefs right now, trying to learn how to play tight end. When you lose those four guys from that roster, it's going to be tough to overcome. But the bottom line is, they just know how to do it. I mean, it's Scott Drew finds the guy who fits and rolls him right in.
So as we roll towards the postseason play here, what are some of the things you want to see so that you know that Baylor's kind of hitting its stride as we get into the portion of the season that really determines success?
I would like them to see them finish very strong down the stretch here in the Big 12. They've got to play Kansas. They've got to play Texas again. They have Iowa State on Monday, who is a team that's backs up against the wall, and winning at home on a big Monday against a top 10 team is going to be huge for them. So I think all of those things are going to be big. I want to see, the Big 12 tournament is not going to shake anything up as far as seeding for the top 3 or 4 teams in the Big 12. So I don't know if that much matters other than just, momentum and continuity. But I think I want to see them get healthy. I think that's what their fans want to see is they need to be as healthy as they can possibly be going down the stretch so they kind of find this new normal of what they're, without Jonathan Chamwachachua, who's the only guy who does what he does. I mean, they have Flo Thamba, who's a big guy who's a good player, but they're different players in different skill sets, so they have to adjust to their new normal without what they were used to coming along. So, overall, I think I just want to see health and continuity. I think that would make them better. And once they get out of the Big 12, depending on their draw in the NCAA tournament, they should probably be a lot better off because they're not playing teams that know them so well. This is just an absolute gauntlet of a conference, and it's tough every night. So they're not gonna, they'll get to play somebody from the Mountain West or somewhere like that, and maybe get a little bit more confidence and get right because teams won't be able to scout them as far in advance as the Big 12 teams know each other all so well.
You talked about that potential draw in the NCAA tournament, and maybe they'll be able to just straight up out athlete a team like that in the first round. But what's a kind of a generic matchup that you think what kind of could trip them up or give them problems? Whether it's in round 2 or that second week of the tournament.
If you look at who's beaten them this year, Alabama beat them because they had 3 great guards. Although Baylor wasn't at full strength when that was going on. So I'd kind of like to see them play that team again. But I would say generically, the matchup they don't want because they don't have it is long and athletic. If you are long and athletic, that is going to give them problems. Now, Scott Drew and staff will find a way to work around it the best they can, but I would think that kind of matchup, given that they would have to play 3 or 4 guards most of the time, would be problematic, and they don't have the guys who necessarily match up to that outside of, Brown, Sohan, Matthew Meyer, who's this guy, but he's super fun to watch. But I think that if you are that kind of team, then that might be the matchup that they don't want to draw.
Paul, thanks a lot. We'll be following your guys' coverage as we get towards March here. You've wanted the best Baylor coverage in the country. Sikkim365.com. No doubt about it. They do it all over there. Go over there and check them out. Paul, thanks a lot for joining us.
Anytime.